Hi friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm here today to show you how to make another card. Today I am going to work with the Brewed for You. This is a stamp and it comes with dies as well, so it is a bundled set if you choose to purchase it that way. This will be retiring in May when the new catalog comes out, but I've had a lot of fun playing with this, and so today I kind of wanted to make a masculine card. I'm going to call it masculine because it's not as floral as some of them that I like to make, but really this can be for anybody. And the colors I'm using are going to involve a lot of the what's it called? Wild wheat, right? Yeah, wild wheat. So it's this kind of golden color. I've already got a piece of designer series paper from the in colors from 2023 to 25. And so this features the wild wheat. I could use the dots, but I kind of like the stripes. And then the one thing I did punch out already is this deckled circle. And I'm going to use this as part of my background. You'll see that when I put it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is a little bit of stamping, and then I will do some die cutting, and you'll see how I'm going to assemble everything. So let me flip the camera so you can see my workspace here. I am going to, let's do this first. I pulled out, this is a light brown paper. It's kind of that copper clay, but I'm going to stamp on it with early espresso. And what I want it to do is to I'm going to make the growler. So that's the bottle, if you will, of beer. And I'm going to put that up here so that I can then die cut this out. And it will look like it's got the dark colored glass that so often these beers will come in. And now, let's see, that's a big stamper. Well, it's a big block, but it'll work. I'm actually going to make this into a Father's Day card. So I'm just going to stamp along the bottom here, and then I can cut this out later. I have an idea for that. Now I did borrow that particular size and shape font from another card set. If you saw when I held this up, it has a lot of birthday greetings, but you can borrow greetings from anywhere, and so I am going to use this to make a Father's Day card. Now that should be the only brown that I need. The other things I'm going to stamp, you can see here I've already punched out, I die cut one of these beer mugs. And you can see it has some detail on there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp another mug, and I will punch all of this out at the same time. I'm going to do it very efficiently. I'm just using gray granite. I want light gray. And so I'm going to punch or stamp this first, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to, there we go, make the little foam top that can go with it. Now, the other thing to stamp will be the inside of the card. And I guess I can put all the ink away if I do this now. I, again, just borrowed a stamp. This one says, "Enjoy your day." Just a generic greeting. And I'm going to ink this up in the wild wheat so that the inside will match most of what's on the front. And I'm going to put this, I want a flat surface, not something under there. Enjoy your day on here. 1, 2, 3, there we go. And now what I think I will do, I just decided I'm going to add another mug on the inside, or at least part of the mug. I'm going to tilt it this way, just to make it look cute. Now, if you're interested with the dies, you can actually die cut. Let me show you this. You can actually die cut what goes into the mugs or the glasses, right? And so I could color it that way, but I'm actually going to use my markers, my blender pens, to do that. So before I start coloring, I want to get everything die cut so I can play with assembly. So to do this, I'm going to clear space here and move my embossing and die cutting machine over here so that I can run everything through. Now, I'll do it this direction. Doesn't matter which way I go, forward or backward, it goes both directions. I have the growler, and I might just be off camera here, but you're going to see it when it all comes out. I have the jar or the bottle there. And I'm going to put the mug line it up right there. And then the cute bubbly beer foam. And I got that just a little crooked. There we go. Okay, I'm going to create my sandwich. I've got my 2 plates. Line it up and crank it through. Okay. So as it comes out the other end, what you can now see, and I just dropped, the foam was attached and it just dropped to the floor. So I will pick that up, but you can see all my pieces. I have the mug, I have the foam on the floor, and I have the growler. And now that I'm done with this, I can move this out of the way so I have a bigger working space. Okay. And there's the foam. There's my 3 pieces, plus the one I had already punched out. Okay, here we go. Now, the other thing I want to do just quickly is to separate this so that I'll have it. My thought was I'm going to cut this apart into 3 different pieces. So I'm not going to worry too much about, having exactly straight edges. It'll be just fine. But what I want to do, I'll show you just roughly what I'm thinking about a layout, and I may change my mind as I go. I'm going to put the paper on off to a little bit to one side. I'm going to use my deckled circle there. I've got, the growl, it slid. That happens to me sometimes. I'm going to leave it for now. Sometimes I trim it. I'm going to put that on. Where'd my other mug go? As I was moving things around, they slid. Here it is. I'm going to have 2 different mugs, and one is going to have the foam on it. And then when I cut this up, I might as well just do this now. It's a little big on the bottom, so I'm going to trim that. There we go. And now I'm going to cut Happy and Father's and Day into pieces so that I can decide now if I want this to go up here or if I want it all on here. I got a few minutes to play with this to decide how I'm going to assemble it, but you kind of get the idea what I'm going to do. Yep, it's going to be very irregular. Yep, something like that. And this is just now making me think maybe I need to put this up higher so that I can put my mugs down here. Okay, so now I'm going to start my coloring. I'm going to leave, I think, this just like it is. I'm going to get my Wink of Stella pen because you know I'm going to use that. So I thought I could do 2 different colors of beer. And I'm going to make this one look like it's a half-consumed glass of beer. So I'm not going to color it all the way up. I will make that a nice flat edge here in a second. I'm just going to the bottom of the inside of the glass. There we go. And the more I shade here, the more ink I add, it'll get a little darker. Or I could go back and use the blender pen and give it some shading, which I think I will do. So let me use the tip here, and I'm just going to lighten this a little on the sides. This is the lifter, so this is going to make it look a little paler on the sides and at the bottom. And now I can decide what color to make this one, and I was going to use a darker color, so it looks like 2 different types of beer. And this one, because I'm putting the foam on top, I think I'm going to take the color all the way up to the top. So I'm just going to kind of outline this, the inside of the glass, the mug here, and then color it in. I'm not a real fancy artist here, so I'm just going to make it look a little streaky, and that's okay. And then again, I'm going to use the lifter to give it a little bit of shadow and depth. So this will kind of, you see I'm going where the lines are. The artist has already done that for me. So I'm just going to make that look a little paler. Now, when I do add, I'll wait to the last minute, but when I add the foam on top of this, I'm definitely going to put Wink of Stella on there. So I've got to decide, and I think I'm going to trim this just a little bit so that the foam and the bubbles, if you will, sit right on top. I don't think I've had to do that before, but I like the look of it being closer. Now, I have in the past also used gray ink just to give it a little bit of shading. And, and I could do that. I could just take, why don't I show you? It just gives it a little bit more depth. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and do just a little bit of watercoloring with the Wink of Stella. I have a little bit of ink here. It's probably from the last time I did it. And I'm going to just swirl on some of the Wink of Stella, so that's got shimmer. And now it's not quite as white. That's all. It's just a nice mix. Let me clean off my Wink of Stella pen. Okay, I think I'm about ready to assemble, but I'll show you what this looks like. I'm going to put it up close to the camera and try to wiggle it so you can see that it has a nice shimmer to it. All right, so let's start assembling. I'm going to start with this bottom layer first, and in this case, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Now, I had mentioned that this stamp set will be retiring. I think we've had this for 2 years, and so when the new catalog launches May 1st, this will no longer be in it. So we have till the end of the month if anybody decides that they really like this stamp set, or somebody that's a beer aficionado, it may be a fun thing to do. Now, I could pop this off, but I'm thinking I want this to be flat. I don't want dimensionals under there. And so I could, and then it means I can pop with dimensionals other things off to make it three-dimensional. And I think the growler would be really cute if it has some support behind it. So I'm reaching for my dimensionals. And I'm going to put those behind it. And I should have grabbed my pickup tool. Take your pick tool, because it's right here in front of me. It does make it a little easier to pick these up. Do that one there, and try to do the bottom corners. There we go. And now to lift the backings off as well. Okay. So that's ready. Let me go ahead and assemble this. Since I've got the liquid glue, I'm going to keep using the liquid glue. It's right here in front of me. And that way I can slide, it's a little more forgiving, so I can slide it if I decide I don't quite like it in the position I had it. But it needed to almost be centered. I'm just going to make it a little off center, up and down, and then a little bit to the right. So I have space to kind of balance now with the growler. Let's do that. Okay. So now I've got one mug of beer here and another mug that's going to be full, and it's a different type. Somebody must be doing a tasting, right? It's another type of beer. So I use 2 colors. Okay, yep, I think like that. And that gives me space to now put, and you see I've lost my pieces that I cut. And that's what happens when I cut them and then start moving everything. It flew. It flew right off my glass mat. So I'm going to put Happy Father's Day. And I have room for all of this in a contrasting color. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with this mug first, I think, and put it lower. I'm not going to put them side by side, and I may put this, because it's not full, I may put this one at a little bit of an angle, like that. And now I'm going to put dimensionals behind this mug. Just needs maybe 3. There we go. And that means I'll have to put dimensionals behind the foam as well to make sure that they're at the same level, if you would. Oops, stuck to my fingernail. So I'm going to put this up here. And for this, because it's smaller, I can put one big one there, and then I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. We have two sizes, so these little dots are great for supporting, and this is where I really should be using my Take Your Pick tool. Here we go. I got the back off of it for me. And put one over on the edge here. And then it even helps sometimes, you can cut these in half again if you have a really small area that needs to be supported. Yep. Take the backings off. Okay. And now I should be able to slide this. Well, what I didn't account for was the overlap. But I think it's going to work. I can tuck the foam under on one side and make this go across. Okay. And so now I'm going to add my message on the front. Happy Father's Day. This could say happy birthday, thinking of you. I have had some fun. This stamp set has one that says, oh, ale. I'll have to show you. Oh, ale, yes. And that's been really cute. I've used that on a bunch of cards as well. It's just been fun. Especially, like I said, for somebody who might be a beer aficionado. Now, what I didn't do is I'm going to go ahead and color inside here too and make this another glass half consumed. And this time I'm using just the pen tip instead of the paintbrush edge. And I'm just going to go back and forth and kind of fill this in. Yep. And then I'm making a line here where I think I want it to stop. And a little bit of darker shading along where the lines for the glass. All right, so there's another mug on the inside. Now, I'm going to add a little shimmer to my beer glasses, my mugs here, and then to the bottle as well. Anywhere these lines are is where I'm just going to simply place a little bit of the Winkostella to give it a little sheen. Okay. And now, I mean, because this is a masculine card, I don't think I'm going to bling this up. I could put a little bow on there. But for right now, I'm kind of liking the way this looks. Now, I can see where my foam is just a little bit big on the edge here. I think this larger foam was actually intended for the mug, the handled mug. So I just snipped it to make it fit. So let me flip the camera up here. Here's the finished card. I mean, I'm calling this a masculine card because it's now a Father's Day card. Could easily say happy birthday. I love that one of the messages that comes with the stamp set says another round for your birthday. So here's an idea for a card. Here's my contact information, the host code for this month, and where you can find me at Carolina Creative or at stampinup.net. If you like what you've seen here, either products or projects, feel free to contact me, reach out, place an order, whatever works for you. So thanks for joining me.